Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. I think Locan Prabhui is here. Yeah. Maybe we, continue a little more. The Locan Prabhui is coming. Hare Krishna. Leonard, kan ta mig melodiklippen.
It's best not to have this. Yeah, so close. Yeah. Because otherwise you hear just this one. Yeah, I don't know who let it here. I know. Krishna. I let Locan Prabhu.
Open. No, now it's open, yeah. Yeah, it's open.
Leonard, kan ta mig melodi.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Locan Prabhu, it is not still.
Shall I ask you?
Yeah, if he likes. Or we can chant it also.
Mataji, Radha Madhav.
Yeah. It is supposed Locan Prabhu to sing before we give the lecture and we can start. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Madhava Kinibara Dari Jaya Gopi Jana
Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Hare Hare.
Now Vishnu.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, I'd like to know what's happening now. Shall I give lecture now?
Yes, please.
Immediately? And Namaste now?
We do after events.
The Arctic.
Arctic,
Okay.
yeah, after the Arctic.
That's all.
Just we chant a little and waiting for them.
Okay.
To come.
I was here, but I thought you started at 4.
No, 3
Oh,
o'clock.
yeah, I was here
They
for
pray
half an hour.
Normally it is 3 o'clock.
Chant some more.
So I will sit here because it's
I can bring the harmonium.
okay. This is okay here on the table, yeah.
Yeah, but I think you mentioned not to stream when you are giving lecture, so we can stop it if you
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I cannot play.
No, no, just for the book.
Oh, okay, for the book.
Yeah.
Can I have turtles? Yes. I have to put this on me.
Yeah, if you want to stream it, if not, it does not.
I mean, I don't know.
Yes.
People listen. Who? No, I don't know. Super Soul.
Yeah. And for example, Ankit told me, yeah, your wife. So
sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah, she used to. For some people.
Maybe we try.
Like you prefer.
Okay, so we sing Radha Madhava.
Yeah.
Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanacharya. Yamuna Tira Vanacharya. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanacharya. Yamuna Tira Vanacharya. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Vrajajanarandana Yamunatira Vanacharya Yamunatira Vanacharya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Vishnupad Brahmasi Purvachik Sharasa Satashila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavindra Ki Jai ISKCON VT Founder Charshila Prabhupada Ki Jai Namacharya Shila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shila Sadhguru Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinata Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai Mathura Dhamma Ki Jai Navadvipa Dhamma Ki Jai Mayapur Dhamma Ki Jai Jagannathpur Dhamma Ki Jai Jagannatha Swami Ki Jai Vrindavana Dhamma Ki Jai Gangamanmaya Ki Jai Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Gaura Premananda Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to sin devotees, all glories to Shishi, Guru and Guranga, all glories to Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Pradaya Uttale, Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine, Namaste Sarasvati Devi, Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishishunevadi Pashtatya Deshatarine. So before we start, I will recite the mantra and you can repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So today I was thinking we should read from a little book. It's a very tiny book, just 18 mantras. This book is called Sri Isha Upanishad. So Isha, those of you who come from India, you know what Isha means. It means the Supreme Lord. Upanishad. This is one of the oldest Upanishads. And it's also one of the shortest. It's only 18 mantras. There is some Upanishads which are very long. Katha Upanishad, Svetashvatara Upanishad, they're very long. So, first I want to explain a little bit what is the Upanishads. I mean, you all know about the Vedas, that we follow the Vedas. And the Vedas have in general like 4 divisions. There is 4 Vedas, but there is also 4 divisions in each Veda. And one of these divisions, anyway, I can say them, the divisions, it's Aranyakas, it's Brahmanas, Upanishads, and Puranas. So this is a... No, but it's working.
It's working, I think, but she needs a little more.
Du måste prata lite närmare.
Okej. De får... Okej.
Och så prata i micken.
Okej. Men den är så långt bort liksom. Hare Krishna. Okay, now it's a little bit better. So what I was saying is that Upanishads, it's one division of the Vedas. We know that there is 4 Vedas. This is a little bit general culture, which we are supposed to follow the Vedas, should know. So there is 4 Vedas. It's Rig, Yajur, Atharva, Atharva Veda, and Sama Veda. So there is these 4 Vedas. And within each Veda, there is 4 divisions. There is, I will say the name, it's Aranyakas, the Brahmanas, Upanishads, and Puranas. So Upanishads, the first 2 parts of the Vedas, the Brahmanas and the Aranyakas, are mainly rituals. Sometimes for worshipping the demigods, sometimes for worshipping Vishnu. And then the Upanishads and the Puranas are the more philosophical parts. So in general, the philosophical part of this is the Upanishads. This is the only Upanishad which Srila Prabhupada translated, and it shows us a little bit about how important it is. And it deals, as the name says, Isha, the Supreme Lord, the Upanishad, the teachings about the Supreme Lord. Upanishad actually means sitting near, because in the old days, originally it means the disciple would sit near the spiritual master. There was no streaming yet. They were not so advanced. So you would sit in front of the spiritual master and you would listen. So this is the meaning of Upanishad. And it's interesting that Srila Prabhupada chose this Upanishad for us as an introductory book. This Upanishad explains basically the qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in a very philosophical way, but also in a very simple way. So I was thinking that today we would read them. This book is available. I think they only have it in Swedish here. I'm not so sure. Maybe you also have in English, no? Because most of you are English speaking, so.
I mean, is it made in English?
The original is in English.
But I mean, in Alvik, do we have it in Alvik?
Yeah, I mean, I have it here in English.
Yeah.
So it exists.
Yeah, of course, yes.
But I don't know if you have it here. But this is a very nice book to start. This being an Upanishad and being a philosophical nature, actually they don't mention the name of Krishna. But it's understood that we are speaking about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I hope this will not be too complicated. It's good for us to understand these things. Why? Because we normally come in life, even maybe we know all of this ourselves, we come in these situations in life, we have to explain it for somebody else. Sometimes for our own children, sometimes for parents, sometimes for guests. We have to explain. So another very interesting thing with this Upanishad, it's very melodious. The mantras are very beautifully composed. So how this is going to happen is that I will read the Sanskrit one word by one word, and you repeat after me. You are welcome maybe to move in here. I know we have loudspeaker. I'm not so dangerous. I look a little bit dangerous, but I am not. Ravi, come. Move to this side a little bit. You're welcome. I know when I went to school and to the university, when they had these subjects which I hated, I am always in the corner. It's just, I'm doing my own thing. And when there is things which I'm very interested, I go forward. So you please repeat after me. Om. A little bit louder. Om. Purnam Adaha Purnam Idam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Avashishyate. So let's see if you can repeat. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam. Purnat Purnamudachyate. Purnat Purnamudachyate. Purnasya Purnamadaya. Purnasya Purnamadaya. Purnameva Vasishyate. Purnameva Vasishyate. So now we're going to read word by word. And you repeat after me, first in Sanskrit and in English. Om, the complete whole. Purnam, perfectly complete. Adaha, that. Purnam, perfectly complete. Idam, this phenomenal world. Purnat, from the all perfect. Purnam, complete unit. Udachyate, is produced. Purnasya, of the complete whole. Purnam, completely. Adaya, having been taken away. Purnam, the complete balance. Eva, even. Avisishyate, is remaining. So I read the translation. The personality of Godhead is perfect and complete. And because He is completely perfect, all emanations from Him, such as this phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. It sounds difficult, it's not so difficult. We'll get there. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Because He is the complete whole, even though so many complete unities emanate from Him, He remains the complete balance. So, let's say in essence, we're going to read the purport, but because this is, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 purnams. It's a little bit difficult to distinguish. So, this says, the first statement of this verse is that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is perfect and complete. So that means in God, in Krishna, there is nothing missing. And there is no faults also. And because God is complete and is perfect, everything which He creates is also perfect and complete. Okay? So like He creates this world, and this world is also perfect and complete. We'll get a little bit into that. So whatever is coming from the Supreme Lord is perfect and complete. And because the Supreme Lord is infinite, even if He creates so many things, He does not diminish. He remains the complete whole. Okay? like in mathematics, you can have these numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, you will never stop. You go to infinity. But if you take away the even numbers, which are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on, you still have an infinite number of odd numbers. Okay? So this gives a little bit analogy to the infinity of the Supreme Lord. So he can create unlimited things, and still he is unlimited. It's not that, you know, he gives away a part of himself, and therefore he diminishes. So now we're going to read this purport by Srila Prabhupada. So the complete whole, or the supreme absolute truth, is the complete personality of Godhead. Realization of the impersonal Brahman, or of the Paramatma, the super soul, is incomplete realization of the absolute truth. The supreme personality of Godhead is Satchidananda Vigraha, and impersonal Brahman realization is the realization of his Sat feature, or his aspect of eternity. Paramatma, or the super soul, is the realization of his Sat and Chit features, his aspect of eternity and knowledge. And realization of the Supreme Personality of God, however, is realization of all the transcendental features, Sat, Chit, and Ananda. So, in the verse it is said that the Supreme Lord is perfect and complete. And now here in the first part of the purport, Srila Prabhupada is explaining the different aspects of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, in other Vedic literatures, like in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it has three features: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Okay? So what is Brahman? Maybe it's easier to start from Bhagavan, but normally one starts from Brahman. What is Brahman? Brahman is the effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what is this Brahman composed of? Brahman is actually composed of living entities. Okay? So all of us who are here, we are part of Brahman. So we are in two places. We are here, but we are also part of Brahman simultaneously. So Brahman, this is this effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And it consists of all the spirit souls, so to say. Like we have a light here, which gives out photons, small particles, small waves of light. But they are just impersonal. So when the Supreme Personality of Godhead, when he emanates this effulgence, every photon, every atma, every little soul is of course, it's perfect and complete, but it's also a personality. Okay? So in India, we have very much this discussion if the Supreme Lord is personal or impersonal. So the Supreme Lord is personal, but when one approaches the Supreme Lord, and this you actually not find only in the Vedas, you find in all religions, the first thing you encounter is the light. Yeah? God's light. God's effulgence. So this is this Brahman. The main characteristic of this Brahman is that it's eternal. Okay, we live in a world where everything is temporary. Everything that we relate to in this world has a beginning and an end. So therefore, it might be a little difficult for us to understand what is eternity. I know, like for instance, in the Christian religion, eternal means something a little bit different than it means for us, because they say, for instance, that the souls, they are created at one point, and after that point of being created, they exist forever, they are eternal. But in the Vedic philosophy, it's different. The soul doesn't have a beginning. Neither does God have a beginning. This aspect of Brahman, the main aspect of Brahman, and when one understands Brahman, one understands that I am eternal. Maybe this body will die, but I am eternal. And this is already a great accomplishment. Because once you understand that, you immediately are beyond death. Most of us who live in this material world, this world is also called in the Vedas, a little bit pessimistically, Mrityu Loka. It's not such a bad name because everything dies. Tree may live 5,000 years, but it will die. We live 70, 80, 100 years, we'll die. Everything dies. So therefore, sometimes this world is called Mrityu Loka. But when one realizes Brahman, one immediately understands that I am an eternal living entity. And this is already a great accomplishment. One understands I'm part of this Supreme Brahman, which is the effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then the second aspect of the Supreme Absolute Truth is called Paramatma. So we have Brahman, Paramatma. In Bhagavatam it said Brahman iti, Paramatma iti, Bhagavan iti Shabdyate. So the Supreme Lord has these three aspects, Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So Paramatma is a little special feature of the Supreme Lord, because the Paramatma is described as the overseer of this material world. So everything which is happening here in this material world, from the organization of the atoms and to our own life, everything is being overseen by the Paramatma, this aspect of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And finally, the supreme feature of the Lord. I forgot to say. So what characterizes this Paramatma is chit, knowledge. In relation, normally, when relating with Paramatma, there is really not a conception of service. Okay? You can serve together with Paramatma, but there is not really this concept of serving Paramatma. If we look at the Vedic literatures, how did the sages relate with Paramatma? They meditated. They contemplated the Paramatma. And of course, because the Paramatma is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that contemplation brought a lot of inner satisfaction. Like sometimes people see beautiful landscape, wow, or the sun here in Sweden. You know, after the long winter, you see the sun, you immediately become in good mood. So when you contemplate and meditate on the Paramatma, this aspect, so besides the eternity, which is already there, there is also this aspect of understanding that I'm relating with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's not bliss yet, but almost. So the last aspect of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his highest aspect, is this form of Bhagavan. And when the Lord is described as Satchitananda Vigraha, a form. Okay? So when one realizes the Supreme Person, he realizes these aspects in the complete form, Vigraha. Thus the complete whole is not formless. If he were formless, or if he were any less than his creation in any way, he could not be complete. The complete whole must contain everything, both within and beyond our experience, otherwise he cannot be complete. So the complete whole, you want to make questions now, or it's okay? Because this is kind of a little complicated, but yeah, Mohini.
How do we realize Brahman?
How you realize Brahman?
How do we know that we understand Brahman?
I would say that you understand Paramatma by contemplation. There is, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, for instance, is described how you meditate on the Paramatma within the heart. In our scriptures, there is not really a method to understand Brahman. And the reason for this is because we are on a platform which is higher than Brahma, in the sense that we are already on the platform of performing devotional service. So this aspect of eternity, it's already included in devotional service. So therefore there is not, we are not really focused on this process of realizing Brahma. But in some parts of the Vedas, it's recommended like one process which is described is something which is normally called neti. Mm-hmm. You know what this is? Neti, it means I'm not this, I'm not this. So in meditation, this is a process normally practiced by impersonalists or by jnanis. Is that, I'm not this, I'm not that. Who are you actually? So you start to exclude, I'm not this body, I'm not this microphone, I'm not so many things, but who are you actually? And gradually, by this process of exclusion, of meditation, you actually understand I'm here, I exist. So I must be something. And this is the first realization of Brahman. But in our scriptures, it's not very much in detail. And I don't know the other scriptures where this is explained. Satisfied?
Yes, I'm satisfied. But with the mantra, we just go higher and higher, sort of. And,
with the Hare Krishna mantra?
Yeah, we realize step by step that we are not this body.
What happens with the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, it's that our mind has become impure or contaminated by contact with matter, because we're constantly associating with matter. So by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, the mind, so to say, associates with the transcendental sound, with spiritual sound, with Krishna's holy name. And by that constant association, it becomes purified from its material content, so to say. In the Bhagavad Gita, there is certain verses that they say our mind present is like a mirror. Sometimes you go in the attic of the house of your parents or grandparents, and there has been a mirror there for 20 years. And you try to see yourself on that mirror, it's just covered with dust, you cannot see that. So then you take some cloth, you take away the dust, and then you wash it with water, and then you look, oh, this is me. So the chanting of the holy name it's a similar process, that we clear the mirror of the mind. Because right now the mind, how does the mind work? I mean, exactly like this body is not us, the mind is also not us. The mind is just giving us ideas and impressions. Yeah? This is good, this is not. The mind puts us a little bit in this platform of acting and rejecting things. Yeah? You know, summer is good, winter is bad. You know, and there is so many dualities in this world. So these arise from the mind. The mind tells you, oh, this is good, this is not good for you. And in order to make spiritual advancement, one has to become indifferent to this constant bombardment of the mind with different suggestions. Okay?
Yeah.
I could go a lot into that.
Yeah.
It's a whole lecture in itself, but you're satisfied? Anything else? Yeah.
Actually, I have two questions.
Shoot.
You said that Paramatma has a potency cheat. Does he has also Sat?
Sat is already included
Ananda.
here. Sat is already included, not
So-
Ananda.
Not Ananda.
A little bit of Ananda. But basically, according to Shastra, it's Sat and Chit.
And Bhagavan is
Sorry?
Bhagavan. So
Bhagavan, the full aspect of Ananda is in Bhagavan.
Ananda and
Satchidananda and Vigraha.
the whole.
Yeah.
But it's not Vigraha.
Yeah, it's Vigraha.
Brahman. It's not Vigraha.
Brahman is not Vigraha, it's formless.
Sorry, I just, but what qualities does Brahman have?
Brahman,
What does?
Brahman has many qualities, even if they say that it has no qualities, but it has many qualities. But the basic quality of Brahman is that it's eternal. That's the basic quality.
The Sat.
Sat. And then the second quality is the substratum for all existence. Everything rests on Brahman.
And then comes Paramatma, Sat, Chit,
Exactly.
and a little bit Ananda. And then comes Bhagavan,
Bhagavan.
Sachitananda, Vigraha,
Full.
form.
Full Ananda.
Yes, thank you. And the second question, it is said that we have to, our heart is like a temple. And we have to situate Krishna in our heart. Is it Paramatma who takes form of this special Krishna, special form of Krishna, which one is worshipping?
So Paramatma is there for everybody. Even if you're a demon, Paramatma is within the heart. But when you start to relate with Krishna or with Vishnu, then gradually the form of Krishna manifests within your heart.
So it's Paramatma. Or it's
No, it's not exactly Paramatma. It's, how shall I say? I mean, what is described in Bhagavad Gita, it's Upadrashta Anumanta Cha. I don't remember this verse. Upadrashta Anumanta Cha. Paramatma. So the basic two functions of Paramatma is Anumanta, Nupadrashta. It's the overseer and the permitter. So if you are under the laws of karma, the Paramatma will function to fulfill your karma. Okay? So overseer and permitter. So Paramatma will let you go into the university. First it will inspire you, and then it will inspire you to get a good job and to become rich if this is your goal. So it's the Paramatma works in function of the karma. Okay? Overseer and permitter. Upadrashta Anumanta Paramatma. I forget this verse. 13th chapter. You have a telephone, eh? Upadrashta Anumanta Param. So, but when you start to engage in devotional service, then Krishna gradually replaces the Paramatma by removing your karma and putting you under his direct protection. So if something happens to a devotee, to the degree you are surrendered, if you are completely surrendered, everything is under the control of Krishna. When you start to surrender a little bit, you become more and more aloof from the laws of karma. Satisfied? Did you find Varuna? I think it's just writing Google Upadrashta Anumanta. Upadrashta Anumanta Cha. Bharta Mukteshva. Oh. So irritating when you cannot remember a verse. 13. You have a Bhagavad Gita? Yes.
13th chapter, you said?
Yeah.
13.23 actually.
1323, yeah? Thank you. So this is a very beautiful verse. 13. Here it is. Upadrashta Namanta Cha Bharta Bhukta Maheshvara Paramatmiti Cha Piyukto Dehesmin Purusha Paraha. So it says, yet in this body there is another, a transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the Supreme Proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, and who is known as the Super Soul. So it's, you can check it when you come home, it's 1323. Okay? Any more questions on this first part? You're okay. Okay, so the complete whole, the personality of Godhead, has immense potencies, all of which are complete as He is. Thus, this phenomenal or material world is also complete in itself. The 24 elements, of which this material universe is a temporary manifestation, are arranged to produce everything necessary for the maintenance and subsistence of this universe. No other unity in the universe needs to make an extraneous effort to try to maintain the universe. The universe functions on its own time scale, which is fixed by the energy of the complete whole. And when that time schedule is complete, this temporary manifestation will be annihilated by the complete arrangement of the complete. So this is the second paragraph. So the material world is complete. In which sense is the material world complete? Sometimes we think that things in this material world, they work automatically. Yeah? I mean, summer comes, autumn comes, winter, spring, all these seasons come automatically. So, there is actually nothing which happens automatically. There is always an organizer behind things. You know, like this altar didn't come automatically. The devotees here in the temple, they arrange for the altar. When you come here, you don't think about that. You're just here. The flowers just came, you know, everything is here. There is nothing which is actually automatically, but the expertise of the Supreme Lord is that when He creates this material world, the material world goes on without His interference. Like if a scientist makes a machine, a computer, it has to be maintained. Yeah, it has to be programmed. Sometimes you have to change the fan, you have to change the dashboard where you write, the screen. You know, everything has to be maintained. Actually, there is an interesting discussion with Srila Prabhupada, and the person who is speaking with Srila Prabhupada is in South Africa, says that God, okay, I believe that God arranged everything, but then he's like a watchmaker, you know, he makes watches. And Prabhupada said, no, because the man who makes a watch, he can only make this one. But the Supreme Lord, for instance, he creates man and woman, and man and woman come together and they produce a child. And the tree produces a seed, and from the tree comes other trees from the seeds. Okay? So the arrangement of the Supreme Lord in this material world is so perfect so that everything seems to be going on automatically. But you should understand that it's not automatically. There is some intelligence behind. Okay? This is very important. Because especially nowadays, the scientists, they have this tendency, you know, everything is going on automatically. You know, like when I go to schools, I have always to fight with this theory of evolution. Yeah? And I always tell them, okay, you explain me how an amoeba can become an elephant. You know, like a human being, there is actually an interesting book by the Bhaktivedanta Institute, written by a devotee whose name is Sadaputta Das, a Prabhupada disciple. And he explains that to go from an amoeba to an elephant, or to a human being, we can say 3 trillion cells, the age of the universe is not enough. You know, you have to have a change, like every 10 seconds. Yeah? You know, you have an animal or a being with no eyes, and you know, some mutations appear, some tissue appears which is light sensitive, and then gradually it becomes an eye. You know, and then you have to get 2 eyes, you know, and then you have to get ears. I mean, it's absurd actually to think that a human being or an animal is just a product of chance, of random selection, as they call. But sometimes the scientists, they are not very smart, because they know their little area. You know, they go to a desert, and there is green lizards and yellow lizards. The green lizards, the birds eat them, because they are green in the yellow sand. So the yellow lizard survives. Yeah? And they call this evolution. But I mean, how did we get the green and the yellow lizard in the first place? Where did the lizard come from? So this is always a little bit the discussion with atheists. You know, they say, "Oh, I don't believe in God." And why not? Oh, because God could not create himself. So what do you believe on? Oh, I believe in matter. So matter can create itself, but God cannot? I mean, what was there in the beginning? I mean, let's say there was nothing. There was not even space. How all of a sudden there was an explosion, as they say? Big Bang. Srila Prabhupada said, yes, there was a big bang, and that explosion, you know, produced a lot of matter, a lot of garbage, and everything landed on the brain of the scientists, he said. He says in one interview. So this is absurd. It's easier to understand there is a transcendental power, there is a supreme personality of Godhead with infinite power who has been existed eternally. Because if we speak about matter, let's say in the beginning there was a stone. Okay? It's what they say. They say there was all the mass of the universe was concentrated in one point. All the mass of the universe in one point, and then it exploded. I mean, who created the space for it to explode? And I mean, where did the energy come for the explosion? And where did the matter come from? It's exactly the same thing as a religious person. There is no difference. You have to believe in something which is actually not possible to understand. Okay, so we go on. Any questions about this completeness of the material world? Anyway, we understand this. So, all facilities are given to the complete unities, that's us, the living entities, to enable them to realize the complete whole. So we, the human beings, have all facilities. That means we have an intelligence in order to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All forms of incompletion are experienced due to incomplete knowledge of the complete whole. The human form of life is a complete manifestation of the consciousness of the living being, and it is obtained after evolving through 8,400,000 species of life in the cycle of birth and death. If the living entity does not realize its completeness within the complete whole, in this human life, which has the benediction of full consciousness, he loses the chance to realize his completeness, and he is again put into the evolutionary cycle by the law of material nature. So, here in this paragraph, so Srila Prabhupada explains that human beings, we have this special ability, we have an intelligence, and we are able to understand ourselves, to understand that we are spiritual living entities, and also the ability to realize the Supreme Lord. Okay, I read next paragraph. Because we do not know that there is complete arrangement in nature for our maintenance, we make efforts to utilize the resources of nature to create a so-called complete life of sense enjoyment. Because the living entity cannot enjoy the life of the senses without being dovetailed to the complete whole, the misleading life of the sense enjoyment is considered illusion. The hand of a body is a complete unit only as long as it is attached to the complete body. When the hand is severed from the body, it may appear like a hand, but it actually has none of the potencies of a hand. Similarly, living beings are parts and parcels of the complete whole, and if they are severed from the complete whole, the illusory representation of completeness cannot fully satisfy them. So here we come a little bit into what is the goal of human life? And what are we actually doing in this world? Because there is always this atheistic people, they say there is no God because there is so much suffering. So they say there cannot be any God because, I mean, if there would be a God, there would not be suffering. This is the argument of the atheists. Those who believe in God, they say, I mean, look, there is so many things in this world which are automatically supplied for you. There is air, there is light, there is food. Everything is there for you. So, in this life, in this world, we have actually to understand, I mean, what was this world created for? Okay, we see there is suffering, but we see also there is actually a lot of sense satisfaction, or at least some sense gratification available. So if we look a little bit around us, there is actually two institutions where you are automatically taken care of, but there is also a lot of suffering. You know which ones they are? It's in the prison and in the hospital. When you are in prison, you don't have to worry. You get food every day, but you are a prisoner. You are being corrected. Yeah? When you go to the hospital, hopefully, they will give also you food, but they torture you. They give you needles and injections. And so in these two places, there is suffering, but there is also some correction, some improvement. So this is a little bit, how to say, because sometimes people think that this world is made for our enjoyment. Yeah? And they become confused because they see, I mean, people are not enjoying. There is starving, there is wars, you know, there is so many conflicts in this world. So, you know, if you think this world is arranged for our enjoyment, it doesn't make sense. But if you understand that this world is made for our spiritual advancement, to correct ourselves from our selfish desires and to make spiritual advancement. So this is like a hospital. We come here and we understand, I actually don't belong here. So therefore, I should try, you know, to develop myself spiritual, to establish a connection with Krishna, to understand the spiritual world. Or, if one doesn't do that, one is just like a prisoner. You know, like a person who has no spirituality in his life is just a prisoner. First of all, there is the Paramatma directing him, the karma, waiting everything on him. You know, he has absolutely no freedom. Freedom of choice is just illusory. But for a devotee, the devotee understands the goal of this material world is, it's an instrument given to us by Krishna. It's a setup of, how to say, a setup of facilities for us to go back to Krishna. Okay? So, for us, for devotees, it's like a hospital. For a non-devotee, it's like a prison. So hopefully, we get healed from the material disease, and we can go back to Krishna, back to Godhead. So, the completeness of human life can only be realized when one engages in the service of the complete whole. Okay, so we're trying to be complete in so many ways. You know, like when somebody grows up, starts to become 17, 18, 20 years, he thinks, okay, in order for me to be complete, I must find a husband or a wife, depending on who he is. And in this way, I'll become complete. I must get a good job, and this will complete my life. But none of these things can complete our life. Unless we connect with Krishna, our life will remain incomplete. All service in this world, whether social, political, communal, international, or even interplanetary, Srila Prabhupada writes, will remain incomplete until they are dovetailed with the complete whole. When everything is dovetailed with the complete whole, the attached parts and parcels also become complete in themselves. So this means when we connect with Krishna in devotional service, then we can actually take part of this complete bliss. Because, I mean, why are we attracted to Krishna? Because Krishna is blissful. And when one associates with Krishna, it's like when you are with a person and that person is always making jokes and laughing and he's happy and always something happening. We also become carried away by that energy. So when you are associating with Krishna, Krishna is supremely blissful, and that bliss is contagious. Yeah? So we also become blissful. So if you see somebody very dull and sad, you don't become inspired. But if you see somebody who is very happy, who is always emanating happiness, how do you say in English? Who is always happy and joyful, then you also become influenced by that. So when we practice devotional service, this devotional service brings us directly in connection with Krishna, and Krishna is this source of ananda, of bliss. And therefore, our life becomes blissful, and gradually we can realize our, how do you say, our desires of becoming happy. So anyway, this verse is a little, it's a little philosophical, but I wanted to do that when they invite me to give lecture here. I will go through this Ishopanishad. And I think it's interesting because it's one of the first books which Srila Prabhupada wrote in English. I think mine is not edited. It's still this this original language, because sometimes Prabhupada wrote by hand or dictated, and the devotee was typing. They did not really understand, so sometimes it's a little bit. So I think this edition, I don't know from when it is, but I think this edition, it's not edited, anything. It doesn't even say it doesn't say the date. 72, okay. 72? Yeah, this is the edition for 1972, so it's...
in 2014.
Yeah, but this is a Swedish one, no?
English.
English, okay. So the language probably is different there. Yeah. So any questions or comments on this? I hope I didn't complicate things too much, but... So what we went through in this verse, just to get everything together. So here in this verse, first of all, it says the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, He is perfect and complete, okay? Everything which emanates from Krishna, like this material world, the living entities, whatever, the spiritual world, these things which emanate from the Lord, they are also perfect and complete. The human form of life offers us an opportunity to understand that we are perfect and complete. And our place in this material world is trying to utilize this world to perform devotional service, and this is the only way for us to understand that we are complete when we are together with Krishna. Okay? So this is just the summary of this verse. It's a little bit complicated, but... Any questions or comments you want to make? Yeah, Mohini.
When I travel sometimes, just to Stockholm or whatever, before I always bring Ishopanishad because it's small and it's easy, So instead of bringing big books, if I stay away for a week, it's a very good book to have in your...
I agree.
Yeah.
There is also in the beginning it was also published as a song, the Ishopanishad, in one of the first records, Hare Krishna records. So they are singing the whole Ishopanishad. It's very beautiful. I think it's called Hare Krishna Temple or something, published in London. Om Purnamana Purnamidam. You know this song probably. You must know, because this is...
Sing louder.
No, I mean I cannot sing, I'm sorry. But they sing the whole Ishopanishad. Okay? I mean, for us as devotees, it's important to understand these things because, we have to be able to explain these things to others, because very often, you meet very often this argument. I mean, there is no God because there is so much suffering. Yeah? I mean, how do we answer that? The thing is that this material world is designed with a specific purpose. This material world is not designed for suffering. Actually, there is one devotee who is called, whose name is Chaitanya Charan. And this devotee, he gives an example. I want to write a book, okay? And I take my mobile phone. And I write a book, try to write a book on mobile phone. And I'll become very irritated. I mean, first of all, everything is very small, you know, and I have to look for all the letters, you know, and then, I mean, how are we going to store it, you know, how are we going to divide in pages? So I'm trying to utilize a mobile phone to write a book. But the mobile phone was not made to write a book. What was the mobile phone? Mobile phone was made to speak and to write short messages. Of course, now they have other things, but it was definitely not to make to write a book. So in the same way, this material world is not made for enjoyment. This material world is made for going back to the spiritual world, for understanding our spiritual nature. So there is a purpose in the way this material world is designed. Yeah? So suffering is not just, you know, because God wants us to suffer and, you know, He created a place of suffering. This is not. No, Krishna created a perfect world. But when we try to utilize this world for our sense enjoyment, then so many calamities happen. You know, like I have observed during my life, how do wars start? Yeah? You have Bush in America, and they call Saddam Hussein and said, Saddam Hussein, you're stupid, you're an idiot, you're a dictator. And Bush said, no, Saddam says, no, you're an imperialist. You exploit everybody. You're just destroying so many countries. And then in this way they start to quarrel, their ego. And then they come to one point they cannot talk anymore. So there is just one language. They shoot at each other. So we think that war is unnecessary, and it is. But where does it arise from? It arises from the false ego. I want to be the controller, I want to be the enjoyer, and also another one wants to be the enjoyer and the controller, and they think, no, his controlling and enjoyment is disturbing my control and enjoyment, so we cannot agree. So it's not that God created the world for us to suffer, but when we make this world a field for our enjoyment, then nothing works. But when we start to utilize whatever God has given us to become free from attachment, to understand spiritual life, to understand ourselves, to perform devotional service to the Lord, then things gradually come into line, you know. And we gradually detach ourselves from this material world and become live a more and more spiritual existence. Yeah, please.
Thank you. Thank you for today coming here and for a wonderful topic. And it was interesting this morning. I have a little class with children, and one of the parents told me my child from 8 now, the first year in the life, started to paint. And somehow later it was told to the mom, I know it is the God, exists the God. And for her it was surprise how he knows many things and from where come all these things. And somehow we forget this. Yeah, all we know, where we come here, where we are small.
Yeah.
Yeah. And after, yeah. And my question it is like, if God created us in this form, and we cannot become, like you mentioned, from one cell to trillion cells we are now, we be influenced from the other realities or entities we have in our gene, something more, or different souls come from different places, and this influence the reality in this place where we are, in this 3D, in this reality. Or it is just we make this all the time, we forget and make the trouble.
I mean, there is a process of reincarnation, which you know about.
Yeah.
So this explains, you know, like there is children who learn how to play piano before they can speak. Yeah. There is many, many examples during the history of music, you know, and other things. So if we accept the reincarnation, I mean, there is a little, so to say, problem with reincarnation, and this is that we don't, it's not a problem actually, it should be like this, but we don't remember our previous lives. Yeah? But even if we don't remember our previous life, the lessons we learn in our previous lives are there. So, I mean, let's say, if I realize now in this life that it's not proper to steal, you know, why should not I steal? Because I shouldn't steal because this was not given to me by God. When I steal, I will make somebody else suffer. Even if I get something stolen, I will never be able to enjoy that because it's not mine. And every time I look at it, you know, oh, I stole it, you have bad conscience. So, you know, gradually the realization appears in somebody, I shall not steal. That realization stays with you for next life. So the soul learns its lessons. But sometimes in detail it is missing. Like every life you have to learn your language. You have to learn a new language from the beginning. You have the ability to learn, but you don't remember from the previous life. So I don't know if I answered what you wanted to.
This is one part, and I have other question for this. I never can answer with these things. It is more how we be influenced in our genes. It is like from the other dimension, planets, and this influence always this version where we are in 3D. Not just the reincarnation we have, like the soul, it is coming from the other planets, and they just come here and change the things in the way, you know, making more trouble in this planet. It is supposed to be like this in this planet.
I don't understand you fully. Like
what she's saying, if I understood her, is what she's saying, whatever is there around us, you know, what is that is influencing these things. And also, probably she wanted to also say that in the life, like the modes of nature, and you know, why the surrounding is like this, and what is changing in the world, what influences that change. In this Kali Yuga specifically, so
for example, the elephant cannot be the human, and the human, I don't know, it is influenced somehow from different.
I mean, the thing is like this. There is a super soul.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I mean, the super soul is always with you, is within the heart, and he sees everything which is going on. So the super soul directs you in the next life, because the super soul has seen your activities, has witnessed your consciousness, is next to the soul, it can see everything. It's like we read before, upadrashta, overseer. So this drashta, this is like this darshana, to see, to look. So the super soul is seeing us, and the super soul places us in the proper context. And the proper context means a certain body, like for instance man and woman, a certain country with certain parents, a certain association. All these things, you know, they are karmic, so to say. The good thing is that at any point you can just change your consciousness and turn to God, turn to Krishna. And then you start to become free from karma. But until that point, I mean, like, there is Vedic astrology. What does Vedic astrology say? Is that the moment you are born is not just you drop from the sky, you know, any second. No, it's a perfect arrangement around you. You know, it's like a universal clock which influences you from different directions, and that makes your character. I don't know if I explained this correctly, but
Yes.
we are under the influence of all these things, but ultimately everything is arranged by the super soul.
And what I know, in the moment we let the boat, it is the same. Already it is like fixed everything. Just
The rest it is what we can. We have little freedom.
When you are a devotee, it's different because you have the ability to remember Krishna at the time of death and to chant the holy name and to pray to Krishna, Krishna, please bring me back to you. So therefore, it was interesting, I was meeting a friend of Tulasi yesterday, and this woman is into Tibetan Buddhism. And I actually, before I came to Hare Krishna, I was studying Tibetan Buddhism for quite a few years in my young age. I didn't know Hare Krishna existed. So when I read books about Hinduism, it's you are nothing, you are everything, everything is within you, everything is outside. These Mayavadi translations. I couldn't understand anything. So anyway, I went into this Tibetan Buddhism. And they have a very advanced procedure which starts with something which is called lucid dreaming. So during the night, we all dream, but you learn how to direct your dreams, how to move on this little more subtle plane. And finally, if you attain the perfection in this kind of yoga, you'll be able to direct your soul to the next body. But there is one thing in the Buddhism, they perfect this technique, but they don't know where to go. Okay, I die, and I try to not be attached to this and this and this and that, and I try to understand, to be conscious through the whole process of death without fear and going to the next body. But because there is no transcendental goal, they just go into another body, which may be of a monk. They say that these Tibetan monks, they reincarnate again as monks, and they live as monks, life after life. But where does it end? Without a conception of God, you cannot get anywhere. Varuna?
I thought Buddhism, they were ending in Brahman realization, no? They were.
You can do that, yeah.
Because they believe on this nirvana concept, so that ends up only in.
You can. I think in this process, when you practice this Tibetan Buddhistic meditation, you become detached from the material world. You go through different things, you try to become detached from eating, for instance. You become detached from different kinds of sense gratification. You are not allowed to sleep. You have to sit in cold water. So finally, just said, okay, I want to get out of here. And then Brahman is the next destination. The problem with Brahman, you must come back.
And more they are directed now.
Sorry?
They are changing now. It is like many leaders I hear about the Buddhism. They are changing to the way they're thinking about the gods.
How do they change it?
They talk a lot about Krishna. They explain about the things more and more. They accept it somehow.
Tibetan Buddhism, which I studied, is heavily influenced by Hinduism. Like all their demigods, they are there, Yamaraj and Indra and Surya, all these demigods are there, but just in different forms. And then they have these heavy practices of austerity, that ultimately, this maybe answers a little bit your original question, Mohini, about Brahman.
Yeah.
My first question, it was more about this artificial intelligence and how the leaders, they are like directed now from other...
You have experts here in artificial computers. I'm very untechnical.
How it is, we influence this reality by them.
How artificial intelligence influences us?
It is beyond this. It is some other entities, so they are like connecting with.
Okay. Maybe what she's saying is these thoughts what people are getting. So is there some kind of a reality like that
Some
or
higher beings,
some
they are developed so much this mechanical way of doing the things. Yes, it was like.
I mean,
else in some way.
reality is complicated, because even from the Vedic point of view, you have I think 33 million demigods. They control the blinking of your eyes, and they control everything, that we are subject to, the weather and our health and the digestion, everything. What I have understood from our scriptures is that there is an eternal fight between demons and demigods, or between devotees and demons. And what is said is that in previous ages, the demons lived in the hellish planets, Sutala, Patala, Talatala, all these. There's 7 hellish planets, or lower. Sometimes they are called the subterranean heavenly planets, because some of these planets the demons are enjoying. So, and the devotees lived in the heavenly planets. The earth is in between, and it has eternally been war between the demons and the devotees. And I don't know, this is my own speculation, but what I have seen is that this war is becoming more intense, and it's becoming more near us. I just remember that when I was little, it was not a perfect world. They were eating meat and everything. But, somehow people were peaceful. You go to your work, you take care of your house. Life was very simple. Now we are just harassed from all sides, There is no, your inner space is disappearing, And I see this very much in this society. You need an inner space, because you need to think, what am I doing in this world? But for the young people, it's very difficult. First of all, they go always with this, you don't hear anything, you don't relate with the world, you just absorb in this sound. And then you go home and you put a video on, or you go on the internet, and there is no inner space. But you have to have this inner space in order to choose. If I'm always banging on your head, you can never choose. You are never free to make a choice. And this I see very much the problem nowadays. And this is definitely a demonic arrangement, to prevent people from understanding themselves. There is no inner space. We can create that if we want, but unless we actually understand what's going on and have a clear desire of becoming devotees of Krishna or engaging in a spiritual practice, then we are just lost in this ocean of whatever, artificial intelligence. But I think the artificial intelligence is completely demoniac, I think. It's just... but sometimes, if you go to this chat GPT, you can make questions about devotional service, and sometimes you may get quite okay answers. Did you try? No. I know some devotees who have tried, and you get quite okay answers. You tried? What happened? You should read Bhagavad Gita. You should chant your rounds. Become vegetarian.
Say who is Krishna, and they write something. Some Shastric text is there, so that was amazing.
Gradually they will clean it out. It will be. But right now it's just in the beginning, so it's like the internet in the beginning was very innocent, and now there is dark net. So, but we see there is heavy demonic influence in the world, and if we want to detach ourselves from that, we have to really be dedicated to Krishna. We have to make Krishna the focus of our life and not become diverted. Okay, shall we finish because it's very late?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Now the community is spending a lot of money just to give the children or the people like these things, 3D glasses, for free. They go in different places just to make them more.
But it's normal for Kali Yuga.
But
Separate themselves. Yeah.
Prabhupada said that we should go more on Devi Varnashram, like simple living side. Then these things, will go away from this, unnecessary, unwanted things in our life and hankering and all those for, and the need to work so hard for this, which is what is happening.
Actually, in a Vaishnava magazine, which I just saw a couple of days ago, I can show you nearer, but there is here a sannyasi. He's telling the bhakta, time to get up and go to Mangalarti. And he says, Swami, forget it. And he has these glasses, you see? You see? He said, I already did my Mangalarti. I'm right now worshipping Radha Krishna. Just get it. You are just old-fashioned. You didn't see this. Look, it's quite nice. It's in a Harmonist, which Vaishnava journal. Okay? Emma, I was thinking one thing. It would be nice if we, like when we chant the verse, we had some place to write it. But you have it there. You have this board there, okay. One can write it there.
Yeah.
Because I can think about it next time, because then everybody can chant.
Yes.
Without the book is very difficult.
Yeah. What I am doing now, next week maybe it is coming with the projector. And we can have it like,
Okay,
put it there and we have
Okay.
the verse,
like in Koshner. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Homage to Prabhupada.
So we all should give gratitude to also Locan Prabhu by loudly chanting Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All right.
we think it was, if you have more energy to do little.
Yeah, I can do the
Thank you. And Mohini after Boga.
She's already in Samadhi, yeah? Yeah, when you're sleeping, there is a stage of sleep, you're going to Brahma. You know that? It's from the Vedanta Sutta. The soul goes into Brahma and recharges in the morning, back.
Especially true for children. Come back strongly.
Incense, lamp, water, towel, flower, and chamara.
Kiba Jayo Jaya Gora Chande Arati Koshoga Kiba Jayo Kiba Jayo Hare Hare Krishna. Thank you. If you want to.
You will not pray our obeisances?
Yes, please. Yeah. Thank you.
Jai Vishnu Pad Brahma Spiritual Shara Stara Sata Shila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnu Pad Brahma Spiritual Shara Stara Sata Shila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Adante Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT Founder Char Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Naam Acharya Shila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinatha Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Mathura Dhamma Ki Jai. Navadvipa Dhamma Ki Jai. Mayapur Dhamma Ki Jai. Jagannathpur Dhamma Ki Jai. Jagannatha Swami Ki Jai. Vrindavana Dhamma Ki Jai. Gange Manamai Ki Jai. Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Harinam Sankitan Ki Jai. Gaur Premananda. Samaveta Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai. All glorious and devotees, all glorious and devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga.
And now we offer the book and we need to sing the Shima song. But thank you for the moderating. Varuna, please. Yeah, if you can make the day. Yes, please. If you, yes.
You have to distribute, not take. That day we have the comfort.
Can I get that karta?
Saman we all say.
On the green versus the that jag skulle
Namaste Narasimhaya. He Pramadadayine Hiranyakashi Kurvasha Ito na Shimbo, Parato na Shimbo. Yato yato yamitato na Shimbo. Bari na Shimbo, Hiraye na Shimbo.
Together, and we do just one time, each of us. We continue like this where we offer the Progam. And yeah, who likes to start? Just Hare Krishna, okay.
You can.
Hi, yeah. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaura Vani Prashaine Rishesha Shunya Vari Prashata Shatayana Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara
Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Good, Premananda.
We were born at home, so we have children, and I asked them just one time.
Okay.
Just we try. Yeah. Well, we can program. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay. Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Children also.